All right, let the games begin. Former UN ambassador and two-term South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley today formally launching her 2024 presidential campaign. The announcement kicking off a primary battle against former President Donald Trump. Haley quickly taking a veiled shot at both Trump and another presidential rival, President Biden. Watch this.
We'll have term limits for Congress. And mandatory mental competency tests for politicians over 75 years old.
Yeah, make it over 45. Trump and Biden, of course, old as dirt. Number 45, of course, had a little something to say about Haley's announcement, saying, quote, "I'm glad she's running, even though she made a commitment that she would never run against who she called the greatest president of her lifetime. The more the merrier." But can she win? Joining me now, host of the Ben Domenech Show, Fox News contributor Ben Domenech. So, Ben, can she win?
No.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
John Bolton
I wish
said,
I had a longer answer for
John
you than
Bolton
that.
said that she's just running for VP. Do you agree with that assessment?
Look, Nikki Haley is actually someone who's a very talented politician, but her time really is past. She's someone who represents, a new generation of Republicans if you went back 10 years ago. She is talented. She has some appeal. She's a good speaker. I thought her speech today was very good. But unfortunately, she's also someone who has tried to navigate the last couple of years in terms of Republican politics, and from my perspective, has not done a very good job of it. Look, I have some affinity for her. I grew up in South Carolina. Seeing her announced in Charleston is something that I'm sure I would have been really excited about if it was back in 2015 or in 2011 or something like that. But unfortunately, I think that Nikki Haley is going to run into the fact that she does not have the kind of credibility on the issues that current Republican voters actually care about. Particularly, I think, the culture war battles that are so important in this day and age. The other thing is that I think that, unfortunately, in a field that does not have as many sort of former Trump people as we currently might end up seeing, I think she's going to attract a lot of attacks from the former president going forward. He was a little soft on her today. I think he's going to be meaner to her in the future. We're going to have to see how she responds to that, and she hasn't had to face that kind of difficulty from her own party before necessarily, and I think it's going to be quite a challenge for her.
All right, so who else is jumping in? Mike Pompeo just released a book. Mike Pence is visiting New Hampshire and Iowa and every other predictable early Republican voting state. We've heard talks of Tim Scott, another South Carolinian who might have something to say about two titans from that state trying to get the top job.
What's really interesting about who's jumping in, and I know we have this Fox graphic that shows all the different people, the plethora of folks who might be jumping in. The face that's still on there, we haven't gotten rid of it yet, who's actually been telegraphing that he's not running, is very interesting to me, and that's Senator Ted Cruz, who effectively came in second back in 2016. He has a lot of people who were prepared to work for him if he ran again this time, and he's decided to run for Senate instead. He's been saying that publicly over the past couple of days, and to me that lays up a really interesting scenario. In every year since 1976, in the Republican nomination battle, if it's ever been competitive, a Texan has run. And this time around, we may end up not just with no people from Texas, but also nobody from any border states, which is going to be really interesting when it comes to advocating on border issues, on immigration, and making the case to voters that you're going to have a really solid record when it comes to addressing that problem. It's a scenario that's very interesting, but it's also very challenging. And look, I hope that we see people like Tim Scott get in. I hope that we see Mike Pompeo, officially get in, because I think there's a lot of ideological difference between them, and I'd like to see that type of debate play out over the course of this primary.
Yes, and if they do have a robust intellectual debate, I think it will be better for the party and for the country. And I bet that meatball Ron DeSantis would love to run as a border state governor.
He wears cowboy boots, though, Kennedy. I mean, apparently that's a problem now.
Well, times are strange. Ben, thank you so much.
Great to be with you.